The alley is a line. The alley is not actually a line. It is T-shaped. A line is what the senses of the mind abstract from experiencing and understanding the alley. We hear, touch, speak, walk, weave, build a line. How many lines can we make with the shape of the alley? The T-shape of the alley can be broken down into 1 line, 2 lines, 3 lines, or 5 lines. The alley also contains lines. In this video, we will explore how lines are formed, how common they are in our human experience. Lines are also often invisible to the naked eye, whether they are microscopic or simply not experienced visually. The process of the creation of a line is often easy to ignore once the process is over and the line is considered complete. The alley can be abstracted from the space in between, outlined, or imprinted. Mosaic on this church is a collection of tiles forming lines to create shapes. The train is another line made up of a sequence of train cars. This locomotive machine moves along more lines to its destination. In the museum, many lines have been created, observed, and perceived. This piece, titled Two Figures by the artist Barbara Hepworth, is made of painted teak wood. It reminds me of another similar exploration of line I observed that was created by a tree. Look at how many lines we can abstract from the exterior of this building. A large section is red and the rest is white. The red area has bricks. These are built lines of brick and cement that we abstract into new lines once completed, painted over in a layer of red. The brush strokes of the paint can be seen in person, but are masked quite well by the low quality of the camera. Upon moving, the bricks blend into new lines again. The white end looks new, like a recent renovation. Its panels can be abstracted into very different lines than the brick. The line is what the senses of the mind can perceive as the result of a sequence, a space in between, an outline, an overlap, a repeated action, or an ongoing action. It is a result of us making or perceiving it that the line exists. If we allow the line to have curves, then everything can be perceived as line or abstracted into a line. The common definition of a line is a long, thin mark or a direct course. The geometric definition is that a line is straight, has no thickness, and extends in both directions. I believe these definitions are only descriptions of specific types of line, rather than a definition for the line itself. Chicago has about 1,900 miles of alley that have been a part of the area longer than the city itself. They are an infrastructure created to keep waste and animals away from homes, run wires without obscuring views and automobile traffic, space for small shops, rear houses, loading and unloading trucks, and for basketball hoops, skateboarding, and other recreational activities. Observing the line is easy in the winter when many things are bare, dry, cracked, and the alley is free from traffic and pedestrians. Let's see what lines can be observed within the alley. Power lines are common lines across the world. The United States electrical grid is massive, 200,000 miles of high-voltage transmission lines and 5.5 million miles of local distribution lines link thousands of generating plants to factories, homes, and businesses. These lines, put together, can wrap around the Earth an estimated 229 times. It is the largest interconnected machine on Earth. It is controlled by only 500 companies and cannot support the massive shift to low-carbon power that scientists warn will be needed to avoid catastrophic climate change impacts. An overhead power line transmits and distributes electrical energy. It consists of one or more conductors suspended by towers or poles. Trees are huge lines growing in and out of the earth. Their linear growth is easiest to see in the winter, when they have shed their leaves, or when they are cut open and the rings of their life are visible. Between the wood and bark is a thin layer of dividing meristematic cells called the vascular cambium. The cambium divides to produce new wood on the inside and bark on the outside. These new cells increase the diameter of the trunk and branches. The new wood cells carry water and minerals up from the roots to the leaves. The old wood in the center is the heartwood. Heartwood is dead wood that supports the weight of the tree. In this way, lines are not always visible. 2 small blue and red advertisements have been taped to a nearby garage. Think of all the lines these 2 pieces of paper contain. the paper and tape itself, the ink, the letters, and even the shape of the paper and tape all have unique, often microscopic expressions, and most of these expressions have a whole industry behind them, full of many, many more lines. Look at this funny little fence. These 5 lines, sandwiched between 2 garages, are made of wood. Wood, as we discussed earlier, has a multitude of lines that are visible and invisible to the naked eye. This fence is not very tall for a person. Here is me next to the fence for reference. I am only 5'4". See why I called it funny and little? Here are some more fun lines. A wooden framed vinyl window in the shape of an octagon. On the window are 17 circles. There are more lines around the frame of the window. On a trash can, we can see more typical lines. A couple people decided to write on a nearby trash can. This is a practice known as tagging or graffiti writing. Any color of the rainbow is available to the writer so long as they are quick in their actions. Be forewarned, these lines are considered illegal. Here's another nearby funny line. A visual representation of a castle and the words Garage King printed into a metal plaque, which was then attached to a much smaller, less expensive home. Another line to observe is this red metal guard. It is also embellished on one side with graffiti tags. To the right of the metal guard is a red cement bollard. I've wondered why this is here. It seems it is a means of defense against oncoming cars to the garage. When further observing the side of the house, we can see some remnants of wreckage, like peeling paint or a frayed corner. It seems, from the shape of the metal guard, that it has already been crashed into. At the corner opposite the smashed red line is some moss ground. The moss is able to thrive due to heavy water content and low sunlight from this winter's bizarre weather. It is also able to survive because of foot and automobile traffic avoiding this area of the cement. The moss becomes a physical representation of where humans choose not to express themselves onto the ground. Next to the moss is another bollard with a beautiful and unique tag. One of the more perplexing lines is this small diamond wire mesh fence. One end of the fence is very tiny, while the other end, much farther away, is bigger. The fence's structure indicates that there should be, or once was, a door connecting these 2 sides together. But upon further inspection, the larger end of the fence was cut. It remains a mystery as to when each section was constructed and why. Another curious line is this jumble of wires. What are these lines doing, and why have they been so poorly strung? When we follow these wires, we are met with an open box high up on the exposed brick of a nearby apartment building.